Hello. Welcome to today's messages. Let's tap in and see what messages are for us. There's a buck. A youthful young buck. Well, his horns are only this big. Giving me Knight of Wands energy. Knight of Wands. Okay. Do you want to see him? Let's see if we can. He's gonna lift his head up. He's got some yummy grubs back there. See, this is the rubbish pile in the backyard there, where we saw the hawk. Okay. He's all looking around the whole time, and then when I turn the camera, now suddenly he's just going to town, munching and crunching. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're oh, come on, man. There we go. See, look at those horns. It's like a gazelle. Okay, we saw. Alrighty. Let's get into the messages of today. So, patience, right? We were very patient, waiting for this buck to show itself to us. We know it's there, and yet it hides. Okay, so we're gonna go in and tap and check and feel and see what the Octudians have for us today. Rebirth. I mean, yeah. What's he eating over there? Yeah, his horns are so bright, hey? They must be... Do bucks shed their horns and then regrow them? That might be what's happening. Okay. We've got rebirth. Yes. Okay, rebirth. The energy of rebirth helps you release old things. It helps you get familiar with everything new, enabling you to get used to your new reality. So this is rebirth and acclimation. We are feeling out our new powers of manifestation and our new legs, right? It's like, what are these sensations that we never had to deal with before? Oh, I'm no longer triggered by that thing. Huh, interesting. Wow. Am I checking in? Yep. No. Whoa, right? Oh, now he's all looking around. Okay. Let's get a secondary. Oh, it sounded like a stack. Burkano Nades Perthro and Algiz the stag. Okay. So Burkano speaks about birthing. Nades speaks about resilience. Perthro speaks about magic, premonition, intuition, and Algiz is protection, divine protection, and also and also other things. Okay, let's get the book. So Burkano, beautiful, because that's about birthing. Okay, birth, sanctuary, fertility, life change, and secrets. So it's like the seed, the egg, the newborn, right? This is the rebirth. We've also got Nades, which is resilience. Need, resilience, efforts, delays, and creative friction. I feel like this is that transitional period, right? Of acclimation, adaptation, getting your adjusting, right? Your eyes adjusting to the light, stepping out of the dark, right? And it's all blinding, and you're kind of like, and you got to squint a bit and then wait for the dilation. Okay. And then Perthro is a good omen, fate, the unknown, initiation, and the occult. Okay. The arrival of Perthro in a reading is a good omen if an outcome is yet unknown. And that's exactly it. We're heading into the unknown, right? We haven't traversed this world, this life, this way of being yet. And so there will be a lot of unknowns. And the stag, protection, defense, courage, independence, and higher self. And that's beautiful. The birth of your new version of you, which is courageous and independent, in tune, connected to their higher self. Gorgeous. Okay. Let's tap in. Yeah, Perthro, the snake, also has a key. And it also has a third eye. So the snake has an eye in between its two eyes. And so it's this key to your higher self, because the next one is Algiz, right? So through your intuition. This is that transition from having to survive, right? This is not as surviving an arid environment. And this shedding of the skin move to Perthro, the snake, where we're shedding that old way of being. Right before we were acting on instinct and reaction, we were reacting on. And now we have connected to our higher self and our intuition, and now we are choosing our response instead of just reacting. Right? Single-celled, I think they're amoebas. When you poke them, they react. Well, we are not single cell amoebas. We are human, evolving beings, higher beings, spiritual beings. And so when we're poked, we choose how to respond. Okay. Let's do it. Let's fall in love. Because that's how we learn, grow, and evolve and hold the love vibe. If you want love, you gotta be love. If you want to see love, be love. There, just made that up for you. Okay, there's the transitional period. We are rebirthing ourselves from outside dwellers to inside dwellers. We are leaving the old ways behind, the cold ways behind. Okay, we are leaving the I'm not worthy versions of self to I am worthy versions of self. This is huge. This is beautiful. We want that, right? We acknowledge that old version, those old versions, right? That's that resilience. We found a way to survive in the cold. In fact, we spent most of our life trying to make outdoor cold living work for us. But we are in the process of grounding in abundance. And in order to do that, you need to own it. You need to claim it. You need to stand in the firm, solid groundedness of being one worthy of receiving. Okay, I mean, you can't make this up, right? We went 5 of Pentacles to 10 of Pentacles. This is the transition. This is the birth. This is the adjustment period, right? It's like before we used to have to, it's a good example of the differences of that transition, right? Of the acclimating part of it. When you have spent your whole life learning how to survive in the cold, and then suddenly you're like, oh, I can go in. And then you go in and you're like, whoa, this is a whole new environment. I don't need all the layers of coats and protection and double socks and insulated boots and toques and scarves and gloves and all this extra baggage. None of that is relevant in this new environment, right? We're indoors. There's fire, there's light, there's warmth, there's, anything that we could need. And so this is kind of like that standing at the door, slowly shedding the layers because you're hot, right? But you're also like, what is this? Is that heat? Do I feel warm? What? Right? It's a new, it's a change. And so allow yourself the time and grace to acclimate, right? It's okay. There's a seat over there waiting for you whenever you're ready to let go of all of your gear. shove it in a pile or, you know, stick it in a box and send it to people who are still outside, whatever you got to do, right? And then go in all the way. Okay. Beautiful. Yes. I don't know what is happening. We've got the 9 of Pentacles, okay? And this is your transition, I have to say. This is you in your garden. This is you. You've planted the seeds, you've somehow made things work, and all of a sudden, now you're in a warm space. All of a sudden, it's like this garden that you've been tending in the snow, right? Planting seeds and being like, why isn't anything growing? And then suddenly, through your connection, through your choosing love over fear, through all of the little things, you were building this greenhouse around you. And now it has been long enough that the snow is starting to melt and the heat is starting to fill the space, right? And so now things are able to bloom and to grow. And this is something that you do for yourself. This is a personal journey, right? This is why the hermit plays such a big role in the spiritual evolution. And this 9 of Pentacles is kind of like you taking stock of how far you've come, what you have done for yourself, what you have created for yourself, right? This card represents independence and being being in your garden, enjoying the fruits of your labor, seeing the fruits of your labor blooming. Okay, so this is so like Pentacle earth stuff, right? Earth element, slow and steady growth, right? Slow and steady nurturing and tending and a building. And it's also, this is also like legacy. Yes, it's abundance, but it's also a legacy. This is that tree that was growing and growing and growing, and then finally starts to bloom and bear fruit, right? Gorgeous. And having, like, allowing yourself to have fruit, right? You know, maybe you were always used to cutting your piece of fruit into quarters to share with others, right? Or there was never enough for everyone to have their own mango. And so they had to cut it and share it. And this, you are rebirthing into one who can have a whole mango to themselves, right? And you may have that reflex to like, oh, I got to cut it up and share it, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. It's a beautiful thing to be able to share, but this is a symbol of your ability to receive, right? And so eat that mango. Enjoy it. You've worked hard. There are a lot of people who never get to taste mango, and there are a lot of people who stuff themselves full of mango. And This isn't about comparing yourself to anybody. This is about you recognizing that you have survived this long on a quarter of a mango, and now it's time to enjoy a whole mango. Okay? You are worthy of this. So then we've got the 6 cups coming out. Okay? This is beautiful reciprocating relationships, like-minded, inner child connectedness. Just all of a sudden I'm like, oh. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? So I feel like this is something that then we're sharing, right? We're sharing the tea, we're sharing truth, we're sharing our love cup, our cup of love. We're sharing creative ideas and inspiration and all kinds of beautiful, beautiful connections. Okay, and this is part of, I mean, to play along with the mango analogy, before when you had to share, it wasn't in the act of like, I have too much, share it. It was more of like a quick, everybody try and grab a piece, right? To survive. And you were only could get a spoonful or a scoop or something like that. I don't know. My analogies are starting to spread out and explode. But now you have a whole, right? You have time to really look at this mango. Oh, that's what a whole mango looks like, right? And decide how you're going to eat it, if you're going to cut it up and share it. Big difference to choose to share versus having to grab a ration to survive, right? Okay, I'm going to need a new analogy, but we'll just trust that this analogy is what it is for today's purposes. Okay. Moving on to the rubbish bin. And like we had to wait to see his horns, right? This was like waiting to see. Oh, dang it. Sorry if that was really loud. Waiting for the growth, waiting for the blooms, waiting for the defrost, waiting for the ships to arrive, waiting for our momentum to build. Okay. Okay. Where are you going? To calmer waters. This is that shifting. This is you moving yourself away from the old ways. This is the equivalent of you acclimating, right? This is the equivalent of you starting to get warm and shedding those old layers, all of the bundles, all of the old ways of surviving, right? Can be like removing weights, making it easier, or untethering yourself from the shore so that you can row yourself out of there. There. Confirmation of transition. The old, out with the old, in with the new. Right? And this process. Okay, I feel like it's already going along and we got still a stack of cards. Okay. We've got looking at things from a different perspective. This is, oh, you hear something. What's that? People. Um, Being able to see things from different perspectives is a superpower. This is something that you have developed, right? Your ability to see things from a different perspective gives you access to forgiveness, because you're no longer holding grudges, because you recognize that grudges is like holding refusing to take off an old coat because it has sentimental value, but you're in an environment that doesn't require one. And so you're just being stubborn, right? You need to release, you need to shed, you need to let these things go. But you also recognize that that jacket also saved your life up until now, right? You relied on that jacket to keep you warm, to keep you safe, to keep you hidden, whatever your layers were or served, however your layers served. And um, this helps with the transition period, because you recognize, right? You're like, oh, I don't like this place. I can't see, right? But your ability to see with your third eye, and your resilience that you learned in the old ways, allows you to recognize that this is just the process of acclimation, that this is just something that it's like your muscles needing to be stimulated after being atrophied, right? It takes it, like there's pins and needles and it's uncomfortable and you're walking all weird and rickety, right? And then eventually you're like, okay, I can dance now. Okay. Also, I'm getting, because it's right beside the abundance, it's like your ability to see abundance differently as well, right? Like to accept abundance in your life, you need to be able to recognize it. And so move beyond a narrow, fixed point of what abundance is. Abundance does not mean a bank account full of cashola, okay? Abundance can be abundance of resources, abundance of safety and protection, abundance of joy and happiness, of love, of camaraderie, of opportunities, of did I say resources, right? Ideas, all of these things. There's so many things. And so start training your mind to recognize abundance. Like if you are suddenly handed a bowl full of blueberries, like, oh, look at this abundance that just was handed to me, right? Make a big deal about abundance coming to you and your ability to recognize it in all forms, shapes, and sizes. Okay. Because what you speak comes to be, right? And if you're constantly in this state of acknowledgement and acceptance and receiving of abundance, you are stimulating the universe machine to give you more of that. Oh, she's really liking abundance of this. Well, here's some more abundance, right? And it's only a matter of time, because before the abundant wheel starts to turn in all of the aspects for you. What you speak into being and what you think. Up until now, this is like my wish fish that is kind of listening in on what you are speaking. So it's like the universe, right? And It's like, oh, you want some of that? Okay. Oh, you want some of that? Okay. But it's also attached to her head, and it's like it's hearing your thoughts as well as your words. And so you want to have your thoughts and words line up, right? We can say, oh yeah, sure, I want this, I want that, I'm worthy of this, I'm worthy of that, right? But if we're not believing it, if the things aren't lining up on all the levels, well, the universe, you can't trick the universe, because it's frequency, it's vibration, it's the energy you emit. This is the same with like winning the lottery. It's about knowing or already living it, right? We can say, oh yeah, I'm totally gonna win, but you've got, the majority of your innards being like, probably not, or nope, or I doubt it, or it's never gonna happen, or whatever, right? But this is the trust. This is a time to trust in the unseen, the unknown. Mims is out there hunting, right? Trusting that the seeds you have planted are growing. And this is the beautiful thing about this defrost, right? This is the beautiful byproduct. All of those seeds that weren't doing anything in the frozen environment that you were planting them in your old frozen garden, are now, all that snow is melting into water that is germinating and helping to grow those seeds. And so trust it, know it, know it to be true. Know it to be true. Okay. Always comes down to faith. Okay, here comes the patient buck, right? That we talked about, the Knight of Pentacles. This is the prepared knight who plans, and this is the knight who writes down every single seed and their location, and has been keeping track of their germination period and the amount of space that they're going to take up. Like, this is the knight that has all of the details and only makes moves when the time is right. And so this card for me represents patience. Patience in all of the things. The timing, like divine timing, right? The things will grow when the time is right. And not before that time. Okay, we've got this Five of Cups. Okay, and fives are about change. So we started with the Five of Pentacles and then we moved to the 10 of Pentacles. This is the material realm, your worthiness and ability to receive. The Five of Cups is about your emotional state and your willingness to, an ability to give and receive love, right? This is like, also, well, where I was going to go was like emotional availability versus emotional inavailability. And also this active and mindful choosing of what you are looking at. So you are choosing to look at all the things that are working out for you and not all the things that aren't, right? This is that ability to see things from different perspectives. In the original tarot, the three cups are spilt and there's two standing, but the figure is kind of giving attention to the spilled cups, right? And so this is that representation of what are you focusing on? And this is your, maybe you were one who looked at all of the seeds not blooming, right? And you're like, why? Look over there. Somebody's got a bloom. Why aren't my blooming, right? And there's two little things kind of growing in the corner that you're not giving attention to. So this is validating for me the point about abundance and being able to recognize abundance beyond a narrow scope of what abundance should look like, and start to see it and perceive it in all the other ways, right? It could even show up like when you're driving and every time you hit a light, it turns green, right? You're in an abundant flow, and it can be material, but it can also be emotional. This is why abundance, this is a broader perspective of abundance. Okay. So grounding that, watching that, because what you think and feel and speak manifests, comes to be. So focus on those things that you have and give no focus to the things that you don't. Okay. Who else is coming out? We've got the moon. Okay. So divine timing. There it is. All things revealed in divine timing, when the time is right, when the moon is full, right? All those shadowy corners that you cannot see in during the new moon phases. As the days progress, as the phases grow, so too is your ability to see in the dark until revelation. It's also things hiding in the dark. This could represent your seeds that you can't see growing. There are a lot of cooperative components that the universe utilizes in its divine orchestration. And this is why you can't try to control everything with your thoughts, because it's a collaboration. Okay. Okay. So we've got the Six of Wands. This is taking advantage of your position, your connection to the higher self, and anchoring in the power of the sun. Choosing the light while balancing it with your dark, right? We've got the moon tool using to hook the sun out of the sky. And then it went blank. Okay. And then we have the Seven of Cups. So this is what happens when you focus on the two that you have. Okay. And for me too, when you're focusing on the Two of Cups, you're focusing on your internal balance and the love within. The Two of Cups, this is the mirroring of self, the beautiful, it's love. You're focusing on love, okay? I mean, even if we go to base, we got +2 and -3. We got love, we got fear. You're focusing on love, fear of losing things, hope for the things that you have, right? And when you choose love, magic happens, okay? Luck appears and things overflow into you, and celebration and people drawn to you and your overflowingness. Okay, your ships coming in is part of your destiny. Okay, it is your destiny to have gone through everything that you have gone through in order to come out the other side of it. It's your destiny. Okay, Sword of Destiny, Sword of the Stone, designed for you and only you to pull it. And your ships coming in, and you being one able to receive. Right? Because the ships, they're waiting for the signal. I'm over here. Those are my ships. Bring them on in. Right? But if you're stuck in this old way, I mean, maybe those ships have been there this whole time, and you just didn't have the eyes, the ability to recognize them. And so this is part of your evolution and your acclimation. It's like, oh wait, are those ships out there? I can kind of see the ships. Oh my goodness, those are my ships. Hey, I'm over here, right? Okay. Let's get an archetype here. I love this rebirth from the old into the new, from a 5 of Pentacles to a 10 of Pentacles. I mean, it's just beautiful. Okay, archetypes. Who best to serve us here today? Oh, sound change in my left. Yeah. Okay, so we got the Orphan, which is also a 5. So we've got the 3 5s coming out for us today, which is change, change, change. This is a confirmation of this rebirth. Okay, and the Orphan card is very much about this worthiness. It's an abandonment wound is really what it is. And your resilience, whether or not you have been abandoned. I mean, this is usually why we develop this abandonment wound. And part of this rebirthing is rebirthing into one who doesn't abandon themselves. And by reclaiming whatever the opposite of abandonment is, holding, cherishing, embodying, right, your independence, you are healing your abandonment wound. And then as a byproduct, it's no longer, because you are solidly in your own tending and caring and holding, nobody can abandon you. I mean, people can abandon you all day, but it's not going to affect you in the same way because you aren't reliant on them to hold you, because you're already being held by you, by spirit, by your connection, by your evolution, by your growth, right? Which is a beautiful thing. Okay, should we read it? 5. I also wanted to read the 555 on the angel numbers. So remind me if I forget. The wounded child, the abandoned, and the beggar. The beggar. To study the orphan is to study the deep and challenging energy of our time. We are ever more connected, yet face collective isolation. The refugee crisis haunts our planet. Children are separated from parents, and the earth begs for our attention. We are in a time of universal orphanage, of nature, of each other, of our own hearts. Take refuge in the fact that we all share this core wound and dilemma. It is normal to fear this card as it haunts the caverns of the soul. When it appears, take time, real time, to be in the presence of the feeling this card stirs for you. Let it humble you. What are you starving for? What is your deepest gifts you can imagine giving to others? What has been rejected is quite possibly what is most needed, dear one. Deep solace, deep acceptance, and deep love when in light. When dark, distance, hates, and avoids, controlling and limiting. Access the archetype through creating creative acts like drawing, painting, or writing. Keep it simple. Ask the orphan what it wants to draw, make, and say. Tenderness beyond tenderness is required. Imagine holding yourself in your hands. To recognize that each one of us fears rejection and isolation is to take one step towards the orphan. More kindness, always. Beautiful. Yeah, also, right? Children in an orphanage, their abandonment wound is ripped open every single time they are put on display and chosen or not, right? And this is why being chosen by another, and the fear of not being chosen by another is directly related and affected by that abandonment wound. Yes. We've also have the snake here, right? And the cycle. This is a cycle that was passed on to us through generations. This is why this rebirthing stage, this transition period, this evolution of our self, of our core, takes so long, right? This is why we have to have patience, because we are tearing down, we are shedding layers that have been there for generations. And it's kind of a daunting thing where you're like, oh, this whole time I've been seeking or avoiding someone else to choose and hold me, when this whole time all I had to do was seek and choose myself. And what this does is it also opens up so that you're more able to take risks, more able to put yourself out there, to go after the things that you want, because it's no longer directly tied to your worthiness. Someone else choosing you, therefore you are worthy. You are already chosen. You are already worthy. And so those that you bring in or go after or hold close, you're just more able to engage, be a part of, right? It's too much pressure, right? Somebody's like, quick, I need you to hold me. And they're like, I don't even know how to hold myself. That's too much. Ah, and they run away, right? But if you're like, hey, I'm right here. And they're like, oh, well, I could stand next to you and that'd be cool. And we could have fun. And, there's no pressure. There's none of this. I dated this guy briefly, and within the first or second time we ever hung out, he ended up telling me way too much information. And basically, he was like throwing his heart at me, but it wasn't even his heart. It was just like a facsimile. It was like baggage, right? And I'm like, what the? I hardly know you. Why are you giving this to me, right? And it was too much. It was like, yikes, I'm out of here. So, and we've also done that to other people. Please, 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 sir. That's that beggar, right? Please, could you take me home and feed me? Could you take me home and love me? Can you validate for me that I am worthy because you want me? And yeah, so that's your transition, right? You're like, oh, I am worthy. I want myself to thrive and survive. I can choose me, my nervous system, my heart, my soul. Okay, let's get love messages. Sorry, I keep going so long. That's all of the love messages. Okay, we're just going to go really quick. You are divinely blessed. Yes, that's that algae with the protection, right? You are highly protected because this transition, this period, this growth spurt, what you've been going through is the highest form of work, right? This is groundbreaking. How many people out there are just throwing themselves at other people? Please save me. Please hold me. Please choose me. And you're here going, I choose myself. And they're like, what? And you're like, yeah, I feel pretty good. And they're like, what? Okay, I can't deny it because there you are. It's happening, right? Okay, your heart knows. So trust what your heart knows. Trust what it feels. This is your trusting in you. This is your belief in you. That's what it's all about. Okay. You're getting gifts from the divine. Yeah, because it's like, woohoo, you got this. You're doing awesome. Take time to rest, listen to your body, trust that it knows what is best for you. There are so many upgrades and light body activations and all kinds of things going on. We are processing, we are receiving, we are electromagnetic beings, okay? So when you feel tired, it's your body signaling to you to rest. And if you continue to ignore it, it starts to signal loudlier, and until you listen. And you don't want to let it go too long because it starts yelling, screaming, crying, freaking out, and then it dies, right? So there's lots of figure out the signs and the signals way before it gets too late. Okay. You're magical. Yeah, you're magical. What you speak, what you believe is true. So speak love and let them think and say whatever they want. They don't know, they don't have the whole story. It's not up to you. Okay, you've got a wish coming true. gorgeous. This wish of, if your wish is, I wish to be chosen, you're just making your own wishes come true by choosing yourself. Boom, check, done. Okay, shift your perspective. Beautiful confirmation. We don't need to go back into there because we already know. Cooperative components, confirmation. Yeah, there are lots of things happening behind the scenes as a result, as a direct reflection of the work and the things that you have done. Just like you taking the time and building this beautiful greenhouse, and eventually the heat starts to build in the space and the snow starts to melt and the water drips and starts to germinate those and defrost those little seeds, and then they start to bloom. This is like the byproduct of your actions, and then now you're going to have things sprouting out all over the place, and all you did was build the structure, right? Okay. More self-care needed. Yeah, because now that you have chosen yourself, treat yourself like you deserve to be treated, right? Take yourself out, wine and dine you, self-care, spa time, right? Sexy bath time, whatever it is for you that makes you feel good. Give yourself these things, make it a habit, and you inadvertently raise the bar on what you allow as from others, right? If you're holding yourself as high value, as worthy, and um, all that, and a bag of chips, and somebody comes in and they're just like, I'm going to treat you like whatever, and you're like, no thanks, no thanks, because if you can't meet me where I treat me, then bye, right? Something like that. Okay. Remember that all things are possible. Don't try to think the things. How is this going to work? How is this going to happen? How is this is all, that's the collaboration with the universe, right? This is that faith, that trust that the universe and its divine orchestration. This is why you're being patient, because the reveal will blow your mind, okay? And we live for that. We want those. What? Wait. Okay. Ultimately, maintain a peaceful nervous system, okay? Yes. This is part of this holding. We're no longer stressed and on edge and in a reliant state on others, in this codependence for whatever, right? We are owning, controlling, taking hold of our own, putting our own emotional state as important, and thus creating a peaceful nervous system. Think of it as a stressed nervous system as windows wide open in your greenhouse, right? You're putting all this work in, but your nervous system is all whack. And so there's no time for the heat to build and for things to defrost, because we've got drafts coming in, out, and all over the place. So peaceful nervous system is part of it. Think of it as also the soil that your seeds are planted in. We want it to be very nutritious and delicious. Okay, and set clear intentions. Be intentional. You are magical. The things you speak, the things you think. Little hairs. Okay. Yes. And we might as well just make it a solid hour. And I'm going to get a couple charms here. Yay! We've got The amethyst spider. Okay, this is giving me protection. Amethyst is protection. It surrounds you in a bubble of violet light that is very protective. Also, the spider, it's like creating this web, our electromagnetic field, right? And this is protect your energy, cleanse and clear. We've got the elefante. This is the obstacles being removed from your path, but also obstacles that are in your path are meant or to serve you to grow or to guide you in an alternative direction. This elephant has a blanket on its back, so it's one of those elephant riders, or you rent and they take you on a tour. So trust the obstacles. The ones that are removed, let them, and the ones that are appearing, find ways to move swiftly and effectively around them. Okay, we also have the owl. This is your wisdom, and it's an active owl. So this is taking flight, trusting the subtle nudges and guidance that you're getting from your ancestors, from your intuition. We've got the ice skate. So this is a non-resistant path, right? You don't want any little bumps and crumbs and all this stuff on your ice. You want it nice and slick and smooth so that there's none of this and tripping and falling. It's just clear glide, right? When you're gliding, then you can do the tricks. And beautiful, the tiny turtle. Okay, slow and steady wins the race. This is all this pentacle energy. It is and will be blooming and growing. Okay. There is the reading for today. All kinds of gorgeous things. This transition period. Trust it. Find gratitude in all of the things that you have. Learn how to recognize abundance that is already around you. Make a big deal out of it. And choose love always. Okay. Love and appreciate you. Oh, I totally forgot to look up the 555. I'll write it in the notes or somewhere. I'll put it somewhere. Okay. Love you. Talk to you soon. See you next time. Bye for now.